What's good, everybody out there on YouTube? This is your man Shattuck Stick dropping some hot fragga on this mic. And yes, I know it's been a while since I've dropped any videos, and that's for one good reason: life. Kingdom Hearts 3 is a game I knew I would have to review. This game has honestly become one of my favorite games of all time and my favorite in the series. While it isn't perfect, I do think the game is pretty amazing. The Kingdom Hearts community and the gaming community as a whole really have either fallen in love with this game or hated this game. Is it really that bad? Is it really that good? Well, to figure this out, we'll have to break down the finer points of the game and determine whether or not this game is truly great or truly a blunder. I'll try to make this review as spoiler free as possible, so if you're worried about spoilers, don't. I'm sorry, I wanted to get this video out earlier, and now I've realized I have to go back to the notes format instead of a full script, and while this part is scripted, the rest isn't. You're ready to hear my raw opinions on Kingdom Hearts 3. Let's begin.
Is that all you got?
Alright, the first thing we need to talk about is gameplay. It's fun, has a ton of combos and options along with transformations. Combos and abilities change with Keyblade transformations and are unique to each, type of transformation. Some are reskinned onto other Keyblades while some are wholly unique. There are 10 types of Keyblade transformations, or just about that many, all with distinct finishers and even further transformations. Alongside the combos, transformations, and finishers, shot locks make a return. Each Keyblade has a generic and unique shot lock, and there are levels to each depending on how long you hold the button, or how many enemies or how long you lock on. They have been nerfed in comparison to Birth by Sleep, but are still fun to use. You really just have to be better about managing meter, because the meter is what has been nerfed in and of itself, not the attacks themselves, which isn't too bad. You just gotta manage your meter better. My current favorite Keyblades are Nano Gear, Starlight, Shooting Star, and Ultima. Nano Gear basically takes all the Keyblades in the game, with the exception of Ultima, and combine them into one big massive hodgepodge of a Keyblade transformation. It's actually really cool and I love it. Starlight is a reskin upon Kingdom Key. While that may sound like, oh, what, it's the same as Kingdom Key, well, not exactly. While they have the same transformation, their final finisher is different. I love using Ancient Light, and that's really why I love using Starlight. It may take some extra work to get there, but it's still fun to use. Shooting Star is basically a buffed wisdom form. Along that, when it transforms even further, it gets this, bazooka launcher thing, and I just love that. I didn't think like that would be a thing I loved the most about the game, but that's one of the things I love the most about this game. The variety in weapons is just cool. And finally is Ultima, because as its name says, it's the ultimate. I can't really go into further detail without spoiling that, but when you get Ultima, you'll see what I mean. Keyblades are also upgradable, so they stay relevant throughout the entirety of your playthrough, or even allowing the player to pass up Keyblades if they really don't appeal to them. I use Starlight throughout the entirety of my playthrough. You can take Kingdom Key, use it throughout the entirety of your playthrough, and it won't feel like you're nerfed at all. The only other game that was kind of like this was Recoded, and I really love that about Recoded. Mobility has also been massively increased to match the expanse and scope of all the worlds. Flow motion comes back from Dream Drop distance, but now it allows you to run up walls and instantly dash towards opponents and certain objects / points in the area to do damage or reach hard to reach areas. Oh, it's kind of hard to say, guys. Reach hard to reach. But seriously, I'm happy that this returns. They've also reworked it, so flow motion isn't as powerful early game as it is in game. While I'm not too fond of it in that sense, flow motion still works great, especially mid game on forward, where it becomes more like Dream Drop distance. I'm speaking more specifically the dashing on walls, because early game it's kind of short, but mid to late game it gets longer and you can actually chain your dashes against walls with each other, so it can be more like Dream Drop and you can dash to areas really quickly. Does it ever get as good as Dream Drop? That portion of it doesn't, but the rest of it's really great and I love it. Magic also gets big upgrades in this game, and situation commands I feel are far better than reaction commands. Again, that's my opinion. This has been one of those those subjects where you either love situation commands or just like reaction commands, and that's okay. Magic is far flashier. Each type of magic is far more distinct and is easier to implement into combos, in my opinion, again, than any of the previous games. Adding to this, each level of magic feels like it has its place to use, whether you want to focus on MP conservation or just raw damage output. I like to have a mixture of both. I'll have like some base magic, and then I'll have like the really big magic, or I'll have the in-between magic, so I can have a little bit of both worlds. Summons also return, and while they are fun to use, I didn't find myself caring for them too much. Never been a fan of them in the series outside of Rechain of Memories, but again, that's just me. Situation commands though are awesome. They allow Keyblade transformations, which replace drive forms, to be easily accessed and implemented into gameplay. Reward the player for diversifying the tools that they use, allow for the new summon-esque moves Attraction Flow to shine. Attraction Flow basically brings Disney rides into the gameplay to allow Sora in the game to destroy foes in a new and interesting way. My favorite personally being the carousel ride that you tap X in time with the flashing rings with. That one is by far my favorite one. That and Big Thunder Mountain. But the Big Thunder Mountain is more situational and you don't get to use it that much throughout the game, which sucks, but what are you gonna do about it? World size has also been massively increased. World scope has increased along with the diversity of worlds. Some follow the patterns of previous Kingdom Hearts games and are room to room like Monstropolis, while some are big open world sandboxes like San Francisco, and then some are just The Legend of Sora Black Flag. Each world is unique in design and is a nice slice of the Disney pie, and I really enjoyed that about the game. You can really go back and explore the worlds, find new stuff, new items, and just lucky emblems, cause you gotta get those lucky emblems. Now let's talk about the story. I'm not gonna go super in depth with this part, but I'll give a small synopsis of the story without spoiling anything. Basically, after failing the Mark of Mastery and not unlocking the power of waking in dream drop distance, Sora's not recovered his powers and needs to go on a journey to get the power of waking and regain his strength so that him and the rest of the gang can go save everybody and commence the final battle against Daddy Xehanort himself. So is it good? Yes. What about it is good? A lot. Characters like Sora finally get some development, and we see another side of the character that we haven't seen before. Sora's one of those characters that we never get to see change and is always happy-go-lucky, but it's good to see him have this sense of distress throughout this game. Interactions between characters is also really great, especially between Sora, Donald, and Goofy. And almost every character plays their role well. Almost. The story is basically bully Sora the game, let's kill Xehanort. Long-time fans will be satisfied, and if this is your first Kingdom Hearts game, I recommend playing the other games. They'll enhance the experience far more than what you would actually personally think. Do you need them to understand the general plot of the game? No, but you need them if you want to understand the overarching plot and a lot of the lore and working of the series. Because if you can't understand the general plot, oh, we gotta kill Big Bad, or oh, we have to fight Big Bad, I'm sorry, that's a you problem. Alright, now let's finally talk about the presentation, or not finally, but let's talk about the presentation. The graphics are amazing. The game looks like a CGI movie, and the cutscenes up the ante with more graphical effects and stuff like per object motion blur, making it really looks like something out of one of Disney's studios. Performance is generally good, but the frame rate is uncapped and fluctuates, a lot. You can cap it, but I'd advise against it because the frame pacing in this game is horrendous. I mean, specifically while capped, not while uncapped. It's nothing bad, but I don't think you're really gonna notice it in the heat of battle. The music is also great and generally enhances the situations a ton. My favorite track so far is Scala Ad Caelum, and I'm genuinely thinking of buying the physical soundtrack if it ever comes out for this game. It's really that good, and I hope we get one. Square, do it. Now let's talk about the problems the game has. I don't have many problems with Kingdom Hearts 3, but most are easily fixable through a patch and aren't big, but that's most. My first one is that I can't look at the big map or the huge map of an area. You can only get the mini map, which sometimes hinders exploration because some of the worlds are so big that you can get lost. I remember in Tangled, I was trying to look for something, and then I came back to an area and I just couldn't tell where I was because I was in the doggone forest, and everything in the general vicinity just looked the same. I didn't know where I was until I got to the swamp, and I was like, whoa, how did I get here? And the next thing is that the game is a bit on the easy side, and while it certainly is fun, I'd like to get a bit more challenge out of the game and possibly even a critical mode. This is a video I'm gonna make for another day talking about the difficulty, but it's a bit on the easy side. Is it gonna hinder your experience? No, it's not. I didn't notice it was easy until like after I beat the game. I was like, oh, I didn't die at all. It just reminded me of Kingdom Hearts 2, because at the end of the day, Kingdom Hearts 2 is an easy game, and I find that to be one of the greatest games of all time. So there we go. The final one is Kairi's lack of growth in this game and not giving her any room to grow. This was a missed opportunity, and it upsets me because I wanted to see her as a capable fighter, but all we got was her being useless Sakura Haruno all over again. So what is the final verdict on Kingdom Hearts 3? Kingdom Hearts 3 is a good game, an amazing one actually, and I believe it to be the best one in the series, hands down. I know that will trigger the Kingdom Hearts 2 final mix elitist, but hey, that's what opinions are for, so everyone can have their own. Well, I don't believe Kingdom Hearts 3 to be the best game of all time, because that's Breath of the Wild to me, and nothing else being that game for a while. It definitely has become my favorite game of all time, and I hope we get new content for it, and or just when the next one comes out that it's even better. The truth is that the game is amazing, and whether you're a fan or a non-fan, you should pick it up. It's an amazing experience that you shouldn't deprive yourself of. But guys, this has been your man Shattuck Stick. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter if you haven't already. Join the Discord to talk with me and other watchers and fans alike. And always remember, Hot Faraga turns to Cold Blizzaga. Go chill out with some of my other videos. I'm out of here. Peace. Kiss, kiss.